and thanks for watching our Earn As You Learn webinar, where you're going to learn all about the scheme from those closest to it. I'm Debbie, the entry-level partner here at Kainos, and in this session I'll be joined by our CEO, Brendan Mooney, Lauren Burns, who is an Earn As You Learn student working in our Digital Services business unit. We have Eamon Compton, who recently graduated from the Earn As You Learn scheme and works within our Workday practice. And finally, we have our Chief People Officer, Colette Kidd. So if you don't already know, Earn As You Learn is our apprenticeship scheme, offering you the opportunity to join a growing global company as an apprentice software engineer, while also studying for a part-time degree at Ulster University. We encourage applications from a range of backgrounds, so whether you're studying in college or in a community-based learning centre, or you're leaving school, please do check our eligibility criteria to find out the qualifications and equivalencies that we accept. So now I'm going to pass over to our CEO, Brendan Mooney, who will give you a quick introduction to our company.
Hello, and thank you for taking the time to find out some more about our Earn As You Learn programme. My name is Brendan Mooney and I'm the CEO here at Kainos. For the past 35 years, we've been helping our customers solve some of their biggest challenges by using technology. We have improved the lives of millions of patients, of customers, of citizens, and of employees. While we do lots of things as a company, we're really famous for two things. First, in our Digital Services division, we build great digital solutions, from renewing your passport, to registering to vote, to resolving legal disputes, to interacting with your GP. Secondly, we work with the world-leading HR and financial software company Workday, deploying their software across the world for companies like TomTom, EasyJet and Puma Sportswear. We're famous for these two things because we do them really well, and that's not just our opinion, it's what our customers tell us all the time. And the reason that we do such a good job is because of the talent of the people inside Kainos. They are among some of the most talented people in the world. Now, many of our colleagues will join us as experienced consultants, project managers, or indeed software engineers, but every year over 100 young people will join Kainos as they start their career. That's a journey that I made myself, joining Kainos from university, although that was back before the internet was actually invented. And 10 years ago, we sat down to design our Earn As You Learn programme. And while we've always recruited strongly from university, we've also recognised that for some young people, university is not the right next step after school. So we created our Earn As You Learn programme to allow young people to successfully transition to a career in technology. Now, 10 years later, and with over 70 talented colleagues who have joined us through Earn As You Learn, we are delighted with how successful our idea has been. And we are as excited as ever as we start the recruitment for 2021. So thank you for your time today. I will hand over to a couple of my colleagues who will bring to life what it means to join Kainos through our Earn As You Learn programme.
Thank you, Brendan. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lauren and I am a fifth year Earn As You Learn student at Kainos. So why did I choose the apprenticeship route? So whilst I was still in school, up to my eyes in coursework and exams, I started getting really tired of the full-time academic system. I felt like I was working hard to pass a test, and then most of the time all that work and all the things that I'd learned suddenly became useless. And that wasn't what I wanted for the next 4 years of my life, as uni is a big commitment. So I started looking for a different way, and that's when my teacher first told me about Kainos. Fast forward 7 months from that conversation, and I'm walking into Kainos to pick up my employee badge, and the terrifying bit about all this is that somehow 4.5 years have passed since then. But I can honestly say to you all that I have been on the best adventure. This scheme is absolutely what you make of it, and I've had so many experiences, met so many inspiring people, and learnt a lot of stuff since I entered Kainos at 18. But outside of my job and my final year project, I'm currently the committee chair for an undergraduate women in tech group here in Belfast, which is an incredible amount of fun. I've also spent time attending hackathons with friends, reading lots of fiction, and going to ballet classes. And the longer I think about the things that I do outside of my job, I realise what a positive impact working at Kainos has had on my life in its entirety. The likelihood is, without all of the events I've run through Kainos, I would never have had the confidence to apply for the committee chair role in the first place. And the amazing women that I attend these hackathons with, I've met through the tech community. And as for ballet, every year Kainos cover a good chunk of my tuition fees via the Skills for Me scheme. Now a little about what I'm doing nowadays. There are two primary business units at Kainos, and I work in the Digital Services BU. I joined Digital Services during my second year of the scheme as part of the operations team, and I'm now a full stack .NET Core software developer working on some really rewarding projects. Working in digital services and working on large government projects means you're building software that you know is directly improving the lives of people all across the country. It makes it much easier to get up for work on these cold winter mornings when you know that your work is actually making a difference to someone somewhere. Joining your full-time business unit is always going to be a daunting prospect, but Kainos really do all they can to make sure that you feel supported wherever you go in the business. In my experience, there's a real understanding throughout Kainos of what the Earn as You Learn scheme is and what it involves. My managers have always been really understanding of me taking time out of the office to study, sit my exams and attend uni. In addition to this, each Earn as You Learn student is given an older Earn as You Learner as a mentor to guide them through their first year and provide all the support they need. I've had the pleasure of being a lead mentor for the past year and a half, and it's given me a front row seat to watch the development and progression of the Earn as You Learn students that have come along after my own year group, alongside seeing the value of that mentor-mentee relationship firsthand. From completing your first end-of-year review to talking about any other difficulties you've encountered, the mentors have been there before and can help you navigate those situations. Now that I'm very swiftly coming to the end of my Earn as You Learn journey, I'm finding myself looking back and really appreciating how special my years at Kainos have been. All the learning experiences that I wouldn't have had and the friendships that wouldn't have been if I'd let my insecurities get the better of me. If you're thinking that the apprenticeship route might be for you, there's nowhere better, in my opinion, to start that journey than with Kainos. And if you're thinking that you aren't good enough, then I'm a perfect example of what can happen when you say, what's the worst that can happen? Set a day aside, try your best, and just send in that application. It could genuinely be the best decision you've ever made. And now I'm going to hand over to Eamon, who's an Earn as You Learn graduate, who's flying within our workday practice.
Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everyone. My name's Eamon, and as Lauren just mentioned, I've graduated from university and I'm currently working as a software engineer in the workday practice. More specifically, I work on the automated testing tool called Smart, and I'll now take you through during my journey from why I chose the apprenticeship to how I got to where I am today.
I started working for Kainos in 2015, but my first experiences with the company were actually a few years previous when I did a week's work experience and attended one of their first code camps. From these events, I got to chat to people that worked there and find out the type of projects they worked on and the technologies they used. And I think at that stage, I thought once I graduated or on my placement year, I'd maybe try and work for them. But I then found out about the Earn as You Learn scheme. So it had all the advantages of before, but they'd also pay my student fees, making sure that I had no debt then, and also I was getting paid to do it. So it definitely seemed like a win-win situation for me. Then I was very lucky and was successful in my application. So when we started the job then in 2015, we met David Spence, who's going to train us up for the next few weeks before we put on live projects. And fair play to David, because I think what I learned in those first 4 weeks was more than I learned my first year and a half of uni. From working on projects throughout the years, you definitely find that the experience that you get on them and from your colleagues and learn from them is a lot more than you'll ever learn in uni. I think we're actually all jealous of those from the HND backgrounds who are able to skip the first few years of the university course. But I worked on a couple of projects between 2016 and 2017. Firstly in Evolve on the healthcare application, before working on a role in the infrastructure side of things for a few government projects in digital services. And then I started work as a software engineer for Smart in the workday practice. In 2017, I actually got the opportunity to run that year's edition of Code Camp. So having previously been a participant in it, to then being asked to run it and helped out the previous year, I sort of felt I'd come full circle, and it was definitely an experience I really enjoyed. One, I initially wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it, but from chatting to a few guys in work and the experience, they definitely encouraged me to go for it, and I'm glad they did. So after that, I then have just been working in Smart, and for the past few years, being able to move between the teams is allowing me to keep learning on my journey. So I'm now a full stack engineer, having experience with lots of different technologies, both front end and back end, which definitely helped when I then went and got my degree, did my final year project this year, and have successfully graduated.
That was a brief whistle-stop tour of my career so far in Kainos. The role that I'm currently in, day to day, I'm designing and developing new features, also onboarding and upskilling new team members. Within that role, I've also been lucky enough to travel a few times. So I've went to Derry, London, Birmingham, and each year get to go to Gdansk, our office there. I've also been involved on customer calls and calls with Workday. So on these, I get the opportunity to present work that we're planning or doing or currently in progress, to hear their feedback, which is something that I never thought I'd really be doing. But the training I've received from Kainos isn't just technical training, but also the soft side skills. So interviews training or presentation skills. These are something that have helped me an awful lot. And I mean, when marketing asks for a favour to do a webinar, I've no reason to say no. Overall though, I've really enjoyed my energy learning experience and working in Kainos. One of the things which I think is great is they listen to the feedback each year from each energy learn year and use that to try and improve and refine the scheme for the next year. So feedback from my year and previous years led me to being involved in setting up the mentor scheme that Lauren mentioned, but it's something that the experience I had is completely different to what Lauren had, and each year it's slightly different for everyone else. So from what I'm hearing, it's going to be a great scheme for next year, and something I definitely recommend and give it a go. To reiterate what Lauren was sort of saying, if you're thinking about it, why not apply? You never know what will happen. But I'll now hand you back to Debbie, who's going to go over some of the key energy learn points. Cheers.
Thanks, Eamon. So just as a reminder, we are coming up to the end of our webinar, but here's some key information that I want to recap on. If you are currently studying in college or a community-based learning centre, or you're leaving school and considering if an apprenticeship is right for you, we would love to hear from you. Embarking on an apprenticeship gives you a unique opportunity to immerse yourself working on projects with real customers early on in your career, and benefit from the technical and professional skills that you're going to develop by working with experienced staff along the way who are invested in your growth and development. If you are nervous about applying, please don't be. The scheme has been designed with you in mind, and you will be welcomed into our community by staff who really do care about you. And remember to keep an eye on our website for key dates and up-to-date information. So lastly, I am going to hand you over to our Chief People Officer, Colette, who's going to close our webinar for today, but I really do look forward to seeing you in the future.
Hello everyone, my name is Colette Kidd and I am Chief People Officer here at Kainos. Kainos is a services business, and for us to provide an excellent service to our clients, we must hire great people and support them with their development. We are truly passionate about ensuring that our people have exciting opportunities, access to superb training, mentoring, coaching, everything that they need to help them fulfill their full potential and be the best they can be. Our Earn As You Learn programme has been an excellent initiative in that it has helped us attract fantastic new, fresh talent from the market. And I personally feel inspired when I see our apprentices join and develop their careers into architects, senior software developers, consultants, etc. So if you're passionate about technology and you want a great place to work, then I would suggest you'd submit your application form to us for the Earn as You Learn programme. Good luck with your application, and I hope to see you in Kainos someday soon. Thank you.